Well, the cost of cruising is at an all-time high. Many cruisers saying they're cruising less or not at all, skipping add-ons like the drink package, the dining package, excursions, even choosing other forms of travel. Well, just a couple weeks ago, I cruised like a king, and it was very inexpensive. I got to tell you about balling on a budget on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony, and here is my review of my recent cruise on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander. Like I said, I was treated like a king on this cruise ship, working in partnership with Margaritaville at Sea. They showed me their very best so that I could show you their very best. But as I dug into the pricing on this, their very best is very attainable for every cruiser, in my opinion. Let me walk through some of the experiences I had on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander, and then we'll end it up with a talk about the cost, how you really can be balling on a budget on this cruise ship. The Margaritaville at Sea Islander cruise ship began its service as a Costa cruise ship, the Costa Atlantica, built back in the year 2000. Carnival Corporation sold the Costa Atlantica to Margaritaville at Sea in 2023, and in June of 2024, the Margaritaville at Sea Islander began service from Tampa. Margaritaville at Sea Islander does 4, 5, 6, and 7 night sailings from Tampa to ports in the Caribbean. Now, like I said, I was set up to live like a king on this cruise ship. I was in a junior suite cabin. I had the faster to chill package. I had the ultimate beverage chill package. I had the ultimate dining package, and I had other amenities sprinkled on me along the way, which I will get into. And we'll go through all of those amenities, but let's start with a quick look at my cabin. This was a junior suite balcony cabin, very spacious with a king-size bed and a couch, wonderfully decorated. It had a separate dressing room, a bathroom with a jetted bathtub, a double sink vanity. There was even a bar area with bar stools, ample amount of storage. This was a very, very nice cruise cabin. One of the coolest amenities of having a cabin in the suite category is access to the concierge and the Concierge Lounge. The Concierge Lounge located on deck 3. That's where the concierge is. And I had a fantastic concierge named Diana. She was so helpful from the very first day of the cruise. She sat down with me and talked about my cruising experience. She asked me the things that I wanted to do, and she was very helpful in booking my dinner reservations, making sure that I had even the excursions that I needed, and even got me hooked up with a massage on the first night of the cruise. It really is a nice perk, and it becomes almost your own private guest services. Instead of having to stand in line at guest services, you can call the concierge on the phone, or you can pop in the Concierge Lounge and talk to the concierge. And speaking of the Concierge Lounge, this was another great amenity. You can pop into the Concierge Lounge and grab yourself water and soda and coffee. Let's just say the fridge in my cabin was always stocked up with Coke Zero. Now, beyond the cabin experience, commonly people want to know, how nice is the ship? What's the food like? How's the entertainment? Let's go through those real quick. This cruise ship was fantastically decored, and the refurbishment, I don't know how much money was spent on the refurbishment, but I have been on similar cruise ships of this age, of similar designs, and this cruise ship blew them away. I did a full walk around cruise ship tour where I slowly went and looked at all of the spaces in the cruise ship. And I would challenge you to watch that video and look for places that look run down or they look rusted. You're going to find that if you compare this to the same age cruise ships on some other cruise lines that have the same design, you're going to find rust in places that you don't find rust on this cruise ship. This cruise ship was very, very nice. And I think the thing that really set the decor off on this cruise ship was its island nautical theming. From the coral reef lounge to the flip-flop atrium, to spaces all over the cruise ship that had a beach and nautical vibe. It was really a fitting vibe for a cruise into the Caribbean. And of course, this is Margaritaville at Sea, so there is a huge Jimmy Buffett tie-in. Many of the venues were named after Jimmy Buffett songs. There was Jimmy Buffett memorabilia on board. There were the iconic things known to Jimmy Buffett, like the flip-flop and the pop-top. And the cool thing is the Jimmy Buffett stuff wasn't so intrusive that if you're a non-Jimmy Buffett fan, that it's going to change the way you feel about the cruise. But it is a cool enhancement that if you are a Parrot Head, if you are a Jimmy Buffett fan, this kind of theming kind of takes it to the next level. Now, there are a lot of food options on this cruise ship. You have included food options and you have food options that are there for an extra fee. Let's talk about some of the included food options. I'll highlight the big ones. Of course, there is a buffet, there is a main dining room, there is a pizzeria, there is a burger spot, and there is a taco and burrito spot. I was able to sample the food at all of these locations, and this food was good, very comparable to what you have on the other major cruise lines. And then when we look at food that has an additional cost, they have their famous JWB Steakhouse. They also have a sushi spot. There is a spot where you can get seafood like crab legs and lobster rolls. And there also is a for-pay spot where you can get items like chicken wings and buffalo shrimp. Margaritaville at Sea also has an a la carte room service offering. And there's also free soft serve ice cream on board. And look, if food's not your thing and you're someone who likes to get your drink on, Margaritaville at Sea Islander is there for you. Also, 18 bars on board. Many of the bars have their own signature drinks. Of course, there's the booze in the blender, there are beers everywhere, and the signature margaritas. Pretty fantastic. I'll tell you what, I was pretty impressed with the entertainment on board. There were several production shows in the main theater, and there was live music all over the cruise ship, from the flip-flop atrium to the Bubbles Up bar. You could hardly go anywhere without running into a live musician on this cruise ship. And if entertainment is a thing that you like when you go cruising, you would not be disappointed on one of these cruises. Now, what I found really unique about Margaritaville at Sea Islander is they offered a lot of onboard events and onboard excursions that I hadn't seen on other cruise lines. One of the notable highlights for me was the Tal Animal Parade, where room stewards from each deck of the cruise ship paraded out their favorite Tal animals, and it was decided by applause which deck was the best maker of Tal animals. I know I tease sometimes about my relationship with Tal animals, but I tell you what, Tal Animal fans, this is a great cruise for you. There were Tal Animals everywhere on this cruise ship. Another really cool offering that they had on this cruise ship was a bridge and engine control tour. This isn't something that you're allowed to film or photograph, but it was a really neat experience where you got access to the bridge where an officer gave you the lay of the land. You even got an opportunity to steer the ship, and there were photos included. This is our group photo from the bridge tour. And then we went into the bowels of the ship. We got to take a peek at the crew areas. We saw the crew mess, and then we ended up in the engine control room where some of the ship engineers walked us through all of the different alarms and monitoring systems of the cruise ship. They explained to us how ASIAPODs worked. It was very fascinating. I'd been on a bridge tour on other cruise ships, but this was the first time I was able to go down into the engine control room. And these were tours that were available for anyone. This was an onboard excursion on the sea day where you could pay to go to the bridge and go to the engine control room. It was pretty interesting. Another interesting experience that only exists on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander is the Jimmy Buffett Speakeasy experience. This is another onboard for-pay ship excursion with limited availability. Only 12 cruisers at a time can participate in this experience. You are given a ticket and you're told to show up at the Havana Dreaming Bar. And when you do, you hand your ticket to the bartender and they give you Jimmy Buffett's favorite cocktail, which is coconut rum, coconut water, and a cherry. Maybe the sweetest drink I've ever tasted in my life. And then you sit and wait until the master of ceremonies comes and leads you to a secret room on the cruise ship. And this room is fascinating. You can't film in the room. I was able to take a couple pictures, but it's a room filled with cocktails. That's the big thing. You're going to get craft cocktails during this 90-minute experience that you can't get anywhere else. And it's also filled with memorabilia tied back to Jimmy Buffett, tied back to the Margaritaville at Sea Islander cruise ship. I don't want to give too much away, but it was a very interesting time in that small space of drinking these craft cocktails and listening to stories about the memorabilia and listening to music. It was truly a unique experience. I also want to quickly mention, for those people that like to test the fates, that like to visit the casino, they had a very big casino on this cruise ship, and it's completely non-smoking. I think it's also important to mention the service level that I experienced on this cruise ship. This is one of the most happiest crews I've run into in a long time. We've seen since the return of cruising a few years ago, crew members have been pretty overworked and worn out. I heard from a lot of crew members on this cruise ship how satisfied they were with their work experience there at Margaritaville at Sea. And talking to some of the leadership there, you really could get a sense of this top-down approach to satisfaction and to providing a good cruise working experience to keep their crew members happy, and therefore providing a good cruise experience to the cruiser. It was really refreshing to see how this crew reacted to the guest and the cruise experience that they gave to the guest. It was pretty cool. Now let's talk a little bit about price. Let's talk about balling on a budget. Margaritaville at Sea has a variety of price points. It's definitely a budget cruise line. You can go on one of these 5-night cruises from Tampa for as low as $299 in an interior cabin, or you can trick the whole thing out and get yourself a suite for as low as $799 per person. If we look at the different add-ons I had the 2 excursions added on. I had cruise gratuity added on. I had faster to the chill package added on, which gives priority embarkation, disembarkation. It also gives internet. I had a drink package added on. I had a dining package added on. If you add all of those things up, that comes to $976. So excursions, internet, drinks, food, all of that for under $1,000 added onto an already low priced cabin. In an age where cruise costs are going up, and up, Margaritaville has provided a very nice cruise experience for, I would say, anybody's budget. I was super impressed when I looked at the cost. Balling on a budget, cruising like a king, doesn't really matter what you call it. If you're interested in an elevated cruise experience for a really good price, check out Margaritaville at Sea. Specifically, if you're looking to go out of Tampa, check out the Margaritaville at Sea Islander. Big thanks again to Margaritaville at Sea for sponsoring this video, for hosting me on the cruise. If you want to see a deeper dive, a full ship tour of the Margaritaville at Sea Islander, make sure you check out this video next. Subscribe for more. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.